Welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Today I'm going to be having a go at an advent calendar or a countdown timer, whichever you want to call it. I thought it would be really cool to have a reusable one that you can pull out every year. So let's have a go at trying an advent calendar with resin. So I typed in Christmas to Google and asked for free downloads, and I've printed out a few pictures that I've chosen, and I think I'm going to go with the snowman. So I'm going to put the picture underneath a clear layer of resin I've already poured in this mould. It is an old mould, but I thought it would be great for making an advent calendar with. Now when it came to making this video, I had over 2 hours of footage and I couldn't put you through that, obviously. So I've speeded up most of this. You'll see me whizzing around. If only I could do it that quickly. If only. And the great thing about these paints is if you make an error or you go over the line slightly, you can just wipe it off. Now it's also worth noting actually that I'm not underneath the camera. I'm further back. So what I can see is slightly an angle to what you can see. So it might look as if I'm going over the lines, but from where I'm sitting, I'm perfectly on the lines.
Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new. Cause I missed you, so I'm letting go of everything but you. These are the good times with you. Baby,
so the numbers are all done now, and I'm going on to do the writing at the top. Now I've taken the picture off the back and I've moved it around because I don't actually want the writing where it was on the picture. I want it a bit further over. So I've just moved the picture over to get the writing where I want it. I'm using the copper paint instead of the black, and I'm doing it upside down back to front. Now that isn't easy, especially when you've got my old eyesight and you can't get too close to it because you keep getting your head in the way of the camera. So I decided to put some holographic tape. Now this is packing tape that I bought from The Range, which is a shop in the UK. And it's holographic and it's just sticky tape. It's kind of like washi tape, but it isn't named washi tape. And I didn't know if it would actually stick and stay there in the resin, but I thought I'd give it a go. So the mould isn't exactly straight, so I'm getting it as straight as I can along the edge. I'm just showing you the process. And it always helps to have a standing knife or cutting blade that is sharp. I think I need to invest in some new ones. So you can see there that the tape has actually gone over the black line. So obviously I need to cut that piece of tape away. I have got a sharper knife this time, but I'm just pushing the tape down to as flat as I can and then running the blade round it and then just taking the tape off that I don't need. That way it actually looks as if the Father Christmas's beard is sitting on top of the tape and not the other way around. So just making sure the tape is completely stuck. I don't want any air pockets under there where the resin could lift it, because obviously I need it to stay stuck when I pour a layer of resin on top. Now I was running short on time and UV resin is a lot quicker than 2-part epoxy resin, so I decided to colour him in UV resin. Now I had done a few more coats of the black to make it thicker and deeper so that I could epoxy resin it, but the time just wasn't there. So UV resin it was, and this is my UV resin of choice, my go-to one. So I'm using Aura Silver Cosmetic Pigments from Etsy. I discovered these from Etsy. They're absolutely stunning pigments, and this silvery pigment is very, very highly concentrated, so you only need a tiny amount. It can drown things, so really a small amount. And this silver white came from a set that I bought from Amazon quite cheaply, and it's gorgeous. The set is absolutely really lovely, and I will link it down below. So I'm just putting a little bit of the white and a little bit of the glitter pigment into the UV resin, and I'm going to start with his bubble. So I'm just spreading the UV resin around, getting it up to all the edges to make sure it's completely filled the area that I want it to. And then I'm going to run a long neck lighter over it to get rid of any surface bubbles that it may have. Although it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be pouring epoxy resin over the top of this anyway, but the less imperfections the better, I think. Now as this mica powder has a shimmer to it, I can put patterns in it before I cure it. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and make it look like a fluffy white brim to a hat, and not forgetting a fluffy bubble on the end. Now I'm going to cure it for at least 5 minutes because it's got pigment in it. It's not clear. It does cure quite quickly, this resin, so 5 minutes is plenty. So now I've made up some more white with some more sparkles in it, and I'm going to carry on doing the same thing with the moustache, the beard, the hair, and any other part that I feel should be white. Everything I use in this video will be linked down below. If I miss anything, please do get in contact with me and ask me to put the link in, because sometimes my little airhead does get a bit confused and I think I've put things in and I haven't. So once that's all done, again I'm going to run over with a long neck lighter to get rid of any surface bubbles. And if you can see, his moustache is really flat looking, so again I'm going to put some swirls and lines in it just to give it some texture. And putting the pattern in it really does bring it to life. So once that's all cured, now it's time to go on to the red for his hat. So this is a crimson red that I bought from the Cosmetic Pigments from Etsy. Again, I will put all the links in the description below. It is absolutely a stunning red. Red is a hard colour to come by, and I was so impressed with this one. So hat all done, and it's time to cure that part. So I want to do some shading on this red. So I've mixed up a small amount and I've added a touch of black to it, just a touch, just to darken it up slightly. And I'm following the picture that I have next to me as a reference, and I'm going to shade the bottom parts of his hat. So popping that under the lamp for a few minutes. And now I've put a little bit more black in the red, and I'm going to go around the very outside to make it a deeper colour so it's more shadow. Now it's time to do his little nose and his little cheeks. And skin colour is not my favourite topic. I don't have any skin colour mica powder, so I decided to use the sparkle white and some peach. It actually turned out quite well, to be honest. And putting a little bit in his ears too. So now I'm going to shade his face and his nose, and I've put a little bit of black in the same colour that I was using to do some shading. Again, I'm using the picture that I have next to me for reference, making sure that the shadow or the shading goes in the right place. Now the picture depicts the shade on the white beard and moustache and white areas as blue. And it kind of makes it look cold, which is great for Christmas. So I decided to go with the blue. Again, these pigments came out of the same set that the sparkling white came out of. So with each section, I give it a quick blast with my lamp, cure it so I don't smudge it when I get to the next section. So that's all done. And now it's time to do the outside edge. Now I did wonder what I should do with it, whether I should leave it clear, but I think it needs something. So I found these snowflakes from a couple of years ago that I bought in Poundland, and they're iridescent pinky colour, and I thought they would look great right the way around the outside. So I'm using Vista Turbo. I've got quite a deep mould here, so I've got plenty of depth to put Vista Turbo in the next layer, and that cures in 4 hours or so. So it gives me enough time during the day to pour a final coat at the end of the day, which is the plan. So I'm using Vista Turbo to put snowflakes in around the edge. And I'm just popping them in with a pair of tweezers and making sure they're sitting flat on the bottom. And they're staying there, they're not moving, so it's all good. Some of them I've overlapped the holographic tape, and some I've overlapped the picture. And that just gives it a bit of 3-dimension to it. So a few hours later then, quick top coat with Vista Rapids. I've got it on a heat mat because it's later at night, and it actually cures quicker with less imperfections too. I'll link in the top corner the video that I did on a heat mat. It really was an eye-opener for me. Well, as usual, I really enjoyed making that. I absolutely loved it. I loved doing the shading on the colour. I've never done that before, and it really looks like a picture in my opinion. I'm not very good with the eyes, but I think they've come out okay. The writing at the top I think came out really, really well, and everything on here, the tape that I put in, I wasn't sure if that would stay or float, but it stayed. And I've put it right the way around the edge as well. Now, I don't know if you can see, but this is completely bowed at the back. I wanted to put a white colour on the back with resin, but because it's bowed, it would have just fallen off. So I think the best thing for this is either to leave it clear, which is lovely, and you can put it up against whatever colour you want, or to put it in a picture frame with a white background. That would work as well. You can cross the colours off with a whiteboard marker and get this out every year. Now, I really hope this has inspired you. I really love doing it. This has got a home to go to. It's going to a friend of mine's daughter, I believe. So yeah, thanks for watching this one. I'll put some stills up at the end. Have a great week. Come back and see me next week because you never know what I'm going to be up to. Push that subscribe button and ring that bell. And bye for now.